All right, y'all, welcome back to Meet the Afroballers podcast. You know what we do here. It's a platform to share stories, insights with premier athletes, celebrities, influencers, all the people that y'all love from around the world. And of course, we discuss matters that are, important to Africans and the diasporic sport community. Like to share the vibes. We're definitely committed to highlighting these incredible achievements and sharing their stories and insights. And you know what? Today's special guest needs like no introduction, but I'm gonna try. We're gonna try a little something, okay? Because he's a legend in these basketball streets, and his impact is definitely global. He is a 10-time NBA All-Star, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, and one of the greatest scorers in this game. Like I could keep going and going, and he was on the NBA 75th anniversary team. I'm gonna let y'all Google him more after this, if you in case you don't know. But most importantly, most recently, has served as a FIBA World Cup 2023 global ambassador. So again, spreading the love for this game around the globe. And again, known for his versatility and his dedication to the sport. And now he's about to hand over the reins to his young king. This is incredible. This is how we do legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Carmelo Anthony.
That's a hell of an introduction.
Oh, but that's you though.
But that's a hell of an introduction. Not everybody give that introduction.
Oh man,
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna take that because I was like, man, how do I do this?
That's a hell of an introduction. I like that.
Thank you so much. Now, how you living? I mean, we're in Paris. It's the Olympics. Great city for the vibes. What have you been up to since you've been here aside from work? Because we've seen you work.
So I'm working. They got me working, but I'm enjoying it. I get a chance to just chill out and vibe and not have too much pressure on me to go play a game. And like I'm a spectator. I'm a fan. I get to be a parent. I just get to just be a fan.
I was gonna say, how does it feel to be back in these same spaces that you were in before, say the Olympics or FIBA? But now, obviously, yes, we're still in business.
Yeah,
we're a businessman. We still gotta cut these checks, but still getting a chance to, like you said, sit on the sidelines, spectate, and not have the pressure of going back home with the gold medal.
It's different. It's a different feeling. It's a different relief. Like you can just show up and just enjoy it. You can enjoy the purity of the game and not have to deal with the political side of the game and the competitive side of the game. I mean, my competitive juices still be flowing.
I was gonna say, now, can you tell me for real that you can sit on the sideline? And
I can't.
I can't.
I can't. That's why I be super locked into the game because I just rather focus on the art of the game and don't focus on the competition.
Result, right?
I can't. So I'd rather just go and just look at players and movements and plays and see how. Things that the average person is not looking at.
Yeah, 1,000%. Now, look, obviously, you've had an amazing basketball journey. So we've seen the championship at Cuse, the All-Star games, Olympic gold medals. Now, what does it mean for you to be personally chosen as an ambassador by FIBA for the World Cup? Because obviously, you're very cultured, you're very, very proud, publicly always have been of your Puerto Rican heritage. But how did this fit with your passion to really grow the game and inspire the next generation?
So it fits with the overall goal and the overall, I would say, plan of the globalization of the game of basketball. It's a lot of nations that's out there that's at the very beginning of growing the game and learning the game and getting kids to actually buy into the game of basketball. So for me to be able to be around and touch these people and go to these different nations and be around and still enjoy my own personal time, but also understand, like I'm observing these areas that I go to, understanding the needs and the wants and how infrastructures work. And it's not just about the actual game of basketball. It's like it's about how do you build around the actual game of basketball.
Yeah.
What is living like? What is, communication like? What is traveling like? What is the actual experience of the player or the fan or the family? It's a lot of things that goes into play. And I think that different nations and different countries, they have an opportunity to get ahead of the game because they so far behind of the game.
It's actually interesting you said that because I was going to say recently I saw a NISA report that said that, the global population is right about 8 billion, but there are about 3.3 billion basketball fans around the world. And I think the rising countries are like Indonesia, Philippines, and various parts of Africa. And I was going to ask, like, for you, and you answered a little bit, but I want you to let it go a little bit more in depth, that as you see this grow, I think so much we think about building courts. We always see like courts and the basketballs. But what else? Like, other players are trying to, it's only so many courts you can put on.
No, that's interesting you said that because I actually started off by doing that, doing the courts. And, we got courts in South Africa. We got courts in Puerto Rico and all across America and just all over the world. And it's like, okay, the courts is cool. That was first step.
Right.
And I was like, how do we put this infrastructure in play?
Right.
where these kids are coming to this place every single day, after school, after class, have an opportunity to just be a part of the community, be safe, get away from what's happening out there in the world and in the streets. So how do we build these safe havens and still have the developmental aspect of growing the game and growing these kids as people first?
Yeah, I love that. As people first. That's
people
really,
first.
really important. People first. Now, obviously, so you've had a unique experience of playing at the highest level, both in the NBA and with FIBA. So what do you think are the biggest differences in playing in terms of style and experience? You get what I'm
It's
saying?
totally different.
Yeah.
International play, FIBA is totally different than NBA. I don't even like to try to compare the two, but it's a very similar game in his ways. The rules are the rules, right? It's physical on both, on both sides.
Yeah.
It is slightly different, some of the rules in FIBA, but for me, I'm biased. I have a different way of thinking when it comes to the rules. It's like, this is one game.
He said, look, I know one thing and one thing only.
It should be one game. Yeah. The rules should be universal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be different rules here, different rules there. But I think eventually we'll
get there.
We're going to get there. But
and
the fact that we started that.
Yeah.
So you can see the FIBA international rules are starting to merge with the NBA
Closer to.
Very close. So
yeah.
I do think this still should be a significance between the two.
Yeah.
Like, FIBA should still keep certain aspects.
What makes
of
them
it.
unique?
Absolutely.
Right.
And so I think they should keep that.
Okay.
Don't never change whatever makes them unique, but also figure out how we make this.
I love that. And obviously, you could probably attribute that a lot to how the international game is growing as a whole. So you're seeing the NBA becoming way more international, but you're seeing a lot of guys from the U.S. go all over the world. So you think that's definitely contributing to like the homogenous, how do you say this? Making the game more homogenous, so right?
I like that.
Ooh, I like that. Ooh, let me use
a
SAT
I like
word.
that. Homogenous. I like that. I like that.
But yeah, so look, obviously, the last time I was telling you this the other day, where I remember one of the coolest things is seeing you in South Africa for the very last NBA Africa game.
Yeah.
I saw you at Fashion Week too, rocking them like Hosa. I was like, man, what? Melo love him some South Africa.
I do.
What do you love most about that place?
I just love the culture. I love the fact that I can go back there and still feel at home and still be around my people and still have the same conversations and still understand what's going on and learn and walk around. And they open their doors up to me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to go there every chance I get. I'm going to go support that. I love art. I love music. I love culture. I love lifestyle. So going there, I connected with a lot of those artists and fashion houses and people like that on the ground. I went to the studios. I was all through the streets.
You were immersed.
Yeah, I was immersed into the culture. So
it
was only right for me to, support Nelson McComo and support Max Sosa.
Nelson.
Like those are my guys. Like these are guys that I was with Max Sosa before he even started. I was with Nelson
from the beginning, right?
when he was in the studio, just writing. Like he was practicing painting.
It's crazy.
So it's like, to be able to have that experience is
Yeah.
like, that's a real personal experience.
Yeah.
And to see
Yeah.
years later, Nelson on the cover of Times
Insane.
and me in Fashion Week in Paris with Max is like, that's totally different. That's a different level of connectivity.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm from Kenya, so
indeed.
I'm opening up.
We on our way over there.
We gonna pull up to you.
Nah, we on our way. We on our way. That's for sure. We on
You
our
heard
way
it
over
first.
there.
Look.
That's a fact.
No, I love that. Now, look, also, so obviously, have you been following the Basketball Africa League? And
yeah, of course.
So tell me a little bit about your thoughts of that league and the progress.
I'm working. I'm working. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to figure out a way how to really truly support it.
Yeah.
And where it makes sense.
Yes.
I will help promote it at all costs because I think that that's a pivotal league that we need, not just over there, but in the world. That part of the world needs it, and the rest of the world need to see that. So I'm very supportive of the BAL. From a business standpoint, we're actually looking at it, very thoroughly and seeing what we want to do, how we want to do it, where we want to go to, and who we want to work with. The BAL is definitely like, every day is sitting there.
Sitting right there.
Yeah,
how do I touch this in my mellow
way?
way?
Yeah, it's like, what's happening? Let me see what's going on. What's going on? What's the structure? So that is one part of the world that I think we would be heavily involved in trying to help and expand that.
I love how intentional you are about everything you touch, whether it be from the international, the game. You've given a lot of answers that speak to your deep thought of,
Yeah.
of what you do. And even from the business standpoint, one thing I love about you is having a champion in women. Obviously, Asani has been a part of your
Absolutely.
career for
Yeah,
a long time. Someone who I look up to, I know a lot of young women do too. But can you speak to the importance of the league? You know, as we can see, like a Lindsay Harding and all of the women who
Big
are
time.
increasing on the coaching staff on the business side. Can you speak to the importance of having that energy all around the
Yeah.
business sport and, you know, from the business side and the basketball side?
Yeah, it's needed. I think the way that sports are actually going and where it's going, that whole asset class is booming, and women's sports in general. And with women's sports, we need more women supporting them from the outside. So why we should support that. As men, we should support that. As business people, as business owners, we should support that. For me, my whole team is women. I have probably 10 to 12 women on my team that I work with every single day. And it just happened that way. It's like, I don't know how I end up with 12 women on my team.
I just felt you attract good
I'm
energy. You know
I'm
what
like,
saying?
God,
God
man,
was looking out for you. That's what happened.
he was paying me back. That's what he was doing. He was paying me back.
Is that what
But no,
that was?
it's it was, I enjoy my time like with my team, and we travel and we have real insightful conversations, and it's also the experience, right? It's like I want to promote you. I want to put y'all in the forefront.
Yeah.
Like I'm good.
Yeah.
Like let's
Yeah.
build this together. Like I don't want you just working for me. Like let's be partners in everything
Yeah.
that we do. So that's what I offer all the women around me. That quote unquote
Contribute
works
to
for
the
me. Is
ecosystem.
like
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you have a family, you have kids,
Yeah.
you have a life,
Yeah.
you might be married, like
Yeah.
you have things that you want to do. So let's set you up for that.
Yeah.
Let's go be partners as opposed to you being my employee.
Look, okay.
Right,
I
so
love
it's a big
Look,
difference.
you gotta tell everybody what you hiring because it sounds like Mellow Enterprises is
No,
the spot
we
to be.
working. We working.
I love that. I know. Last question. We
Yes.
gotta wrap it up. But obviously, Youngin is getting ready to go into the world.
I hope so.
Listen, he's ready. Okay, we know he's ready. But you look at people like Kai and Zaire and Bronny. Whenever
Yeah.
you and your brothers are sitting around looking around at the boys, obviously there's advice that you want to give them. But what's when y'all look at them, how do you protect? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's for me with Kai, it's more allowing him to go to his own journey and develop and understand. Like you still got to develop cognitive skills too. You still got to develop your physical level. Got to develop. Like
Yeah.
everything has to develop in order for this to work. So as long as this is right and we putting the work in, you do what you do. Like you shouldn't feel pressure. You shouldn't let me feel the pressure to do what I got to do as a parent. You shouldn't feel no pressure
To
because
be my child.
To be my child.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Don't let that come over top of anything.
Yeah.
So we just gonna do what we do. We're gonna develop the way we develop.
Yeah.
We're gonna take our time.
Yeah.
We know the ultimate goal. I mean, now we know the ultimate goal.
Right.
Like if that's what you want
What
to
he
do,
wants to do.
you
Right.
what you want. If that's what you want to do,
Right.
here's how we have to.
Let him lead the goal, and then
You lead
help
the
him
goal,
get
and then
there.
I'm gonna help you get there. But
Yeah.
this is what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
This is not easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I mean, we look at Bronny. His situation is totally different than Kai's.
Yeah.
Kai's situation is totally different than
Zaire.
Zaire. So, you know what I'm like? Zaire had to take a whole nother route, which is like it's astonishing to see the route that he had to take to go to the BAL in Africa to find his home. Right? Bronny had to go through what he had to. Kai is the one that's sitting back. And being able to learn from those two, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I want to go this route. I want to go that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. So we have an opportunity to really be strategic on how we move through this process because once you're there, I'm going to lose you.
I know the feeling. You see mine sitting right there, and I'm
once
just
you're
like,
there,
yeah,
I'm going to lose.
the world got you.
Absolutely.
You know?
So
Yeah.
now it's just, and it's even more work
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. Parenting book coming soon too. So we'll figure that out too later. But listen,
Stay Mellow Parenting.
Stay
book is
Mellow
coming.
Parenting 101. I love it. Carmelo, thank you so much for your
Yes,
time.
thank you,
This
love.
has been fun. Love the podcast.
Thank
Meryl
you.
keep killing it. So look, we're getting real good because we might have to
love
figure
that.
something out. You
Oh,
know
that's
what
a
I mean?
fact. That's a fact. I love that.
Appreciate you, and I just love to continue to see you affect the game of basketball. And thank you for your contributions to this family. So
Thank you, sis.
Thank you
I
so
appreciate
much.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.